Great day. I'm Marshawn Chrysler, and this is WAJ We Are Jackson News, and here are today's top stories. The City of Jackson continues to craft a budget for the fiscal year that begins October 1. Mayor Tony T. Yarber and the City Council have been holding budget hearings. City departments have presented plans to reduce spending. City officials are also considering how much of a millage increase they will propose. The administration plans to implement a restructuring and reorganizational plan that will result in a $7.6 million in savings. The hearings can be viewed on the city's website at www.jacksonms.gov. A public hearing on the budget will be held September the 2nd. In other news, the City of Jackson and Hinds County recently announced an interlocal agreement to repair more roads in Jackson. The county has received a grant to help pay for the work. The city also will provide assistance on the project. The work will be conducted on sections of the following streets: Beasley Road, Burwood Drive, Forest Avenue, Lakeover Road, Cedric Drive, Atkins Boulevard, Hanging Moss Road, Valley North Boulevard, and others. Earlier this summer, the city and county worked together to pave Forest Hill Road, Watkins Drive, Lynch Street, and McClure Road. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
Mayor Tony T. Yarber and the City of Jackson Department of Public Works will host a public information meeting regarding the city's special municipal sales tax program on Thursday, September 1st at 6 p.m. at Thalia Hall. The meeting will allow residents to hear firsthand how their 1% sales tax funds are being spent and provide their feedback. Thursday, September 1st at 6 p.m. at Thalia Hall.
Welcome back to WAJ News. In the studio with us today, we have Mr. Jim Richards, President and CEO of KLM Transport Services. We're happy to have him in the studio today. He's going to be talking about some of the great things that's going on with his company, a great company and great partner with the City of Jackson. Welcome, Mr. Richards.
Thank you, Marshawn.
We're glad to have you in the studio, and we're going to allow you, like we do with most of our guests, Mr. Richards, just talk a bit about, from a historical perspective and a current perspective on what your company is doing within the Jackson market. But not only that, I want to commend you because I know you, and I want you to talk a bit about your relationship in partnership with Hinds Community College, my alma mater. And also, we had the privilege of having you as one of our presenters at our recent Jobs for Jacksonians. So just glad to have you in the studio, and good to know that you are local and homegrown. So tell us a bit about KLM.
Well, thank you. KLM Transport Services has been in business for 54 years.
Yes, sir.
We're the largest trucking company in the state of Mississippi. We are a refrigerated trucking company, so everything we handle is food products, pharmaceuticals, etc., that requires refrigeration. We run all 48 states and Mexico, and so very active across the country. We run about 4,000 power units across the country, so pretty large when it comes to the trucking industry, and very proud to be from the state of Mississippi. You know, we do have a partnership with Hinds Community College. That was something we developed a couple of years ago. In order to create jobs in the state of Mississippi, offer people an opportunity that may not be familiar with the trucking business but are just looking for an opportunity for change in their life. We hire people that have never been in a truck before. We will actually send them to a 3-week school, training them how to drive. We actually train them on how to obtain their CDL, and we do that, and then we offer them employment afterwards. So we think it's a great avenue for employment. Like I said, we do all the training. All of this is free to the applicant. It's all done through a scholarship through Hinds Community College. It is an accredited institution. You know, some of the things that we're very proud of, it is a state-of-the-art facility equipped with simulators, computer labs. We run state-of-the-art trucks and trailers. We want to make sure we train you in the best equipment because that's what you'll be driving for us. So it's a great opportunity for someone that's interested in a new career and seeing the country. And so we're very proud of that.
From a timeline perspective, I think it's interesting to note that from the time a person is interested in becoming a truck driver, how does that process work? Do they go to Hinds first and enroll in the program and get into the partnership with KLM? Tell us how that works for the viewing audience.
Sure, that's a great question. Actually, we are in partnership with Hinds at our school. We have Hinds employees at our school, and we are connected into the campus at Raymond. So there's no need for the individual to actually go to the Hinds Community College location. They actually come to our location. They register as a student. You get college credit while you're going to our school. And so from the time you begin, it's a 22-day class that you will actually be in school. And that goes everything from learning to study for your CDL, passing your CDL exam, doing the driving test. We do that at our own facility. We have third-party instructors that are certified through the Highway Patrol to handle that, as well as the driving itself on the road. So you see a lot of our trucks and trailers around town, and that's students that are learning how to drive, learning how to back. After the 22-day class, once you graduate from the school itself, then we put you with one of our trainers where you'll actually be on the road for a 6-week period as an apprentice for one of our trainers. And they actually train you. It's on-the-job training, and so you're out there for 6 weeks. After that period of time, then you can become a lead driver yourself and actually work alone. Excellent,
excellent. And I know that's helpful because I know a lot of people are interested in that occupation or career, and that's extremely helpful. And you all have been operating again. Did you say 30 years?
54 years.
54 years. Okay, that's some history, no doubt about it. And the other question I was going to ask you, in terms of you may have mentioned this, in terms of your geographical location and how you operate. How far out does KLM transport?
Yeah, we operate through the entire country, all 48 states, and go into Mexico. Our drivers don't actually go into Mexico, but our trailers do. We have a partnership with a couple of Mexican carriers that come and take our trailer down to Mexico. So our drivers are not subjected to that, but all 48 states and very active in the whole country.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Well, let me ask you this, in terms of your partnerships, do you have any other partnerships within the Jackson market other than Hines and some other place? What do you have any other partnerships?
We do a lot of job fairs throughout the state. We also have partnerships like what we've done with Hines in Dallas, Texas, and in Chicago, Illinois as well. So the school model has worked really well for us. You know, the trucking industry is consistently short of good qualified drivers. And so this has been our answer to supplying enough employees for us to make sure that we can keep our trucks busy. We like to bring people in, train them the way that we want them trained at our company. I can promise you that if you come to work for us or you come and train with us, you will receive some of the best training that's available. I have a vested interest in making sure that when people come out the backside of our school, they're educated, they know how to drive safely, and make sure that they're safe, and that we also operate safely around the motoring public. So we have a vested interest in making sure that we train these folks as best as they can be, and we have found that training them ourselves has turned out to be a better avenue for us. And so that's kind of our answer to the ongoing problem in the industry. Nationwide, there's a huge shortage of truck drivers, and so this is the way we attack that problem.
I would like for you to address a little bit about those qualifications, because I know that's important. Just want to re-emphasize that. What are some of the qualifications you look for in a potential driver?
Sure. You know, obviously, to be operating a commercial motor vehicle, you have to be 21 years of age. The other things are, you know, certain criteria that we look for are organizational skills to make sure that you're pretty responsible. Obviously, drug screens or pre-employment drug screens are very important, and also after employment, we're required by the federal DOT for random drug screens. So I will tell you that our criteria, you know, you have a minimum criteria from the Department of Transportation, which is federally regulated. Our criteria are higher than that. And we just feel like that hiring the right people on the front end really helps us and helps our company. And it also reduces turnover. We try not to employ people that we don't think will make it, because it's a lot of vested time and interest in someone that may not turn out to be a good candidate. And it's a tough business. I will tell you that you know, this business is not for everyone, but for people that are looking for a good career with a lot of independence. Quite frankly, you're your own boss, and you get to see the country. And if you've never been in one of our trucks, I can tell you that it's like a rolling apartment. These trucks have come a long way. They're very nice. Most people that get in them for the first time are amazed at how nice they are. So it's a nice environment to work in, and you can make good money. So
Sure.
it's a good opportunity.
Sure. Our producer will provide the information on the screen, but tell the viewers how to contact your company if they're interested in becoming a driver.
Sure. Anyone interested in going to our school, and once again, you have to have no experience is necessary at all. I mean, you can go from working in a fast food restaurant to applying for our school and can be driving a truck, in a matter of months. So if you're interested in this occupation or in our company, then you can reach our recruiters at 1-800-925-5556 or 1-800-925-KLLM.
Okay, excellent. So again, it's certainly a wonderful opportunity that you've shared with us today, and I know there's a lot of viewers that are interested in it, and the information that you provided today has certainly been beneficial to it. Is there anything else you'd like to share in terms of the benefit of the viewers, but to bring home any I guess priorities did you all have with your company in terms
Well, I will tell you that, I've been with the company for 30 years, and it has come from 300 trucks when I started to about 4,000 trucks, and that sounds like a big company, and it is, but it's operated like a very small company. We're here locally here in Jackson, Mississippi. We get to know the people that work with us. We're very involved in the community. Blair Batson Hospital, we do a lot with them. The Community Stew Pot, do a lot with those folks. So we get very involved. When situations occur, such as what's occurring in Louisiana now, we're very involved in delivering supplies, et cetera. So very proud of what we do for the state, very proud to be the largest in the state, but we also operate like a very small company. And we want to be the type of company that people want to come to work for. And I will tell you that folks that come to work for us typically stay for a long time.
I've heard that. That's a good reputation to have. And I know you mentioned the contact number. Is there a website they can go to and find out more information?
Yes, our website is www.kllm.com.
Okay, easy enough. Well, we're glad again to have you in the studio, Ms. Richards. We will probably bring you back at some point in the not so distant future to talk and give us an update on where you are, and if you're recruiting for more drivers, we'll give you an opportunity to do that as well.
Well, I'd love to come back, and if you're interested, come take a look. I think you'll like what you see.
Great guest. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with WAJ News.
The Jackson Community Garden Initiative is one of many projects sponsored by Keep Jackson Beautiful. We're a nonprofit that not only educates the public about recycling and environmental issues, but is a growing network of volunteers and other partners, including the city of Jackson. We're all dedicated to keeping Jackson beautiful and a great place to live through community service and neighborhood projects. To be a part of Keep Jackson Beautiful, call 601-953-1123 or visit us at keepjacksonbeautiful.com.
Welcome back to WAJ News. The city of Jackson is welcoming a new business. City officials recently held a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new Fedex office print and shipping center. Mayor Tony T. Yarber and representatives of the city's Economic Development Office were on hand for the ceremony. The center is located at 226 East Capitol Street. We now have in the studio with us Commander Herman Horton with the Jackson Police Department, who's no stranger to the show. We're glad to have Commander Horton back in the studio. He's going to be talking about the new Citizens Police Academy that's coming up, and also some crime data that I'm sure the viewers are interested in. Welcome to the studio again, Mr. Horton.
Thank you for having me back, sir.
We're so glad to have you, Commander. And let me say, as I always do on the front end, we really appreciate the job that you do. And all law enforcement officers, not only locally but nationally. So thank you for keeping us safe. And I know how incredibly important your role is in public safety, but not that, but quality of life issues. So again, we want to talk about this. I understand you got a new academy schedule coming up real soon.
Yes, sir. We have another Citizens Police Academy starting. That'll be October the 3rd through October the 10th. Be Monday through Monday. And it's basically 2 hours a night where we invite citizens from not just Jackson, but the entire metro area to come out each night. And they'll be given information and provided information on how the operations of the Jackson Police Department go each and every day. They'll learn about our major investigations. They'll learn about our communications, where they'll go up to our communications dispatch center and see how calls are received, how officers are dispatched to those calls. They'll see our narcotics unit, our K9 unit. They'll go to our pistol range and see what our SWAT team does during different demonstrations, as well as our bomb unit.
Well, good. And if, in your experience, and you've been doing it for quite some time now, Commander Horton, which one of the activities, demonstrations, do you see the citizens most interested in, if you can pick one?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say on a scale of, with 10 being the highest, they enjoy that firing range. Because they enjoy actually seeing and putting those who are familiar, and even those who are not familiar, they learn the basic operation of a firearm. Not that they are so enamored with that piece of steel in their hand. It's just that they get to see that police officers who carry this on a daily basis have to know how it operates and the safety functions of it.
And the intensity of having to fire a firearm.
Yes, sir.
And I know that I'm sure I knew the answer to that before I asked, but I wanted the viewers to benefit from it. But you know, the thing I've learned is, and in my career in law enforcement, that citizens are most interested in firearms because they understand, and it really brings to home how dangerous of a job police officers have, and then putting them on the other side of that weapon and understanding that you have to pull the trigger in order to prevent loss of life or harm to the police officer is certainly important, and I think that brings it home. I'm sure you would agree.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Absolutely. And sir, one of the parts of our training is during the course of that week-long training is that we take these citizens through a shoot-don't-shoot scenario. We have a simulation system at the academy where we put them in actual situations, whether it's a traffic stop, a domestic, or they encounter an individual casually on the street who's committed a crime, and they have to react by way of either using the firearm or not using the firearm, and they get to see firsthand how quickly those decisions are made by police officers out there on the street.
Sure, and I think that's the reality of it. It's such a fast-paced job when you talk about police. I mean, sometimes there are lulls, but most of the time they're not, because it's 24/7 nonstop attempting to maintain civility, decorum, and safety within your respective areas. And so, like I say, that's why I commend what you do, especially patrol officers, because again, that's their primary role is to, again, parole the perimeter, deter crime, and things of that nature. But one of the things, going back to the Citizens Police Academy, I know that I understand your numbers are growing. I know you started out with a few, but one of the classes I had the privilege of attending the graduation was huge.
Yes, sir. Right now we have about 43 applications, and we're still receiving those on a daily basis. We anticipate about 60 participating in this upcoming class based on the numbers that we're receiving right now.
Great, and you all have also a Youth Citizens Academy as well, right?
Yes, sir. We have that Youth Citizens Police Academy that takes place during the summer months. We have one in June and one in July, and we invite all the children from around the metro area to participate in that as well, because that is a week-long academy as well. It's from 8 to 5, and they learn about the police department as well, because we not just want to have them doing as if it's a summer camp, but they actually see what the police officers do, everything with the exception of involving them in any types of firearms training.
Fantastic, and I think it's important to note that even though summer is behind us now, but you did have 2 classes that went through. And what's important to note, and I'm sure you agree, Commander, is that the Jackson Police Department is committed to making sure the relationship with the police department and the community is strong. And I think that has been very beneficial in us not having a high incident between the community and law enforcement. Would you agree?
Oh, yes, sir, absolutely. I know people hear the terminology community-oriented policing, but I also like to tailor it to community-oriented problem solving, because you're making the community inclusive. A lot of times when it's been my experience when I've gone to different states, and I've seen where the community will ask the police for help, but at the same time the police will give their own version of help. Whereas with Jackson Police Department, we reach out to the community, hear what they have to say, start gathering thoughts and ideas from not just from the police department command staff and the officers out there in the street, but from the citizens, and try to incorporate those ideas to make their community better and make their community safer, because it's all about improving the quality of life for those people that live in those communities.
And that's so important. I want to use that as a segue into talking about our crime statistics and how we're looking in those areas. But before we do that, tell the viewers the dates again on this Citizens Academy and how long they have to apply. Yes,
sir. We're still taking applications up until the last Friday of September. And we'll be taking them, be from the 3rd of October through the 10th of October. They can get an application from the Jackson Police Training Academy at 3000 St. Charles, or they can come to the Jackson Police Department and get one from our Community Relations Office at 327 East Pascagoula, or they can call and get the email address where they can have one emailed to them. And the phone numbers is 960-1378 or 960-2077.
Okay, great. And so those actual academy dates are October 3rd through October 10th.
Yes, sir.
And that every evening, what hours?
It'll be from 6 to 8 each evening.
6 to 8 each evening. Well, I know they're going to be excited about that. I'm sure based on the program, you'll get some more calls, quite frankly, and we wish you much success in that endeavor. Moving quickly, in our final part of the segment, let's talk a bit about the crime data that we see. And you know, Commander, I think police in general, but certainly here locally in the city of Jackson, that's why I'm so appreciative of this news station. You know, it seems that other news mediums have a laser focus when it comes to murders. You know, I know that gets people's attention and you know, makes people watch news shows, but we know that murder in the city of Jackson takes on a new sort of complexion, because if I'm not mistaken, based on the data, most of the murders happen in the city of Jackson happen by way of relationships. In other words, the victim and the assailant has some type of relationship. Is that right?
Yes, sir. There's some type of acquaintance there. And based on our detectives who go out and solve those crimes, and if I could put a peg there, our homicide unit, they have a 73% homicide solvability rate, which is 12% over the national average. But getting back to your statement, the individuals who are oftentimes involved in those assaults, those homicides, they know each other. They know each other. That's why when we talk about community-oriented policing, i.e. community-oriented problem solving, is trying to get that level of conflict resolution where people know how to deal with each other and have that social interaction where they won't be so angry to go get a firearm or some type of deadly weapon to harm someone.
Sure, and going back to what you said, not taking anything away from the detectives, because we have some fantastic, very intelligent detectives.
Yes, we do.
And leadership in the Detection Bureau. But the reason why, based on the data, that solvability rate is so high is because of those relationships, right?
Yes, sir.
Because these people know each other, so that makes it very easy for, well, certainly simplistic, if you will, for the detective to go and research who they're connected to, and a lot of times that connection leads to the rest because it's somebody that they know. And so I think it was important to note, and going back to the Citizen Police Academy, how important it is to have a relationship between citizens and the police so we can deal with these issues. And these issues that we're dealing with in terms of murder and aggravated assault, I don't have to tell you, Commander, has to do with spiritual and emotional matters.
Oh, yes,
and which puts a burden on the police, because that's not what police are trained to do, is to deal with emotional and spiritual matters. That's more of a faith-based community type of issue. So if you would, just for a few seconds, speak on it from your vantage point when it comes to that, how important that is to have a relationship with the police and the community.
It is, because one of the steps that we as the police department we're taking is trying to incorporate what is called crisis intervention. We have a crisis intervention unit that deals with domestics, but we're talking about a crisis intervention team whereby we have officers who are trained and certified to deal with individuals who have certain issues regarding their mental state. And in regards to how the police department is looking to deal with that, we know that we oftentimes have heard in the law enforcement arena, you wear many hats. But at the same time, the community has taken that seemingly to a whole nother level to want to put everything on the shoulders of the police department, and that's really not feasible.
No, and it's not very practical at all. But I know you and I, Commander Horton, sit here and talk all day, and our segments have run out on us. But I did want to say before we part in the segment that I'm appreciative, and please convey that to Chief Vance, as I will also, that we are appreciative that crime overall has been steady declining under his leadership. In other areas, we know we're slightly up in the category of murders, but for all other crimes against persons and property crime, things of that nature, the trend is showing a downward trend. So kudos to what you all are doing in that aspect. And I did want to say that very openly and publicly for the benefit of viewers that, you know, crime overall is down in the city of Jackson, and that has a lot to do with leadership, commitment like you have with the police department and your efforts. But again, want to reiterate those dates before we sign off, those dates again for the Citizens Police Academy?
Yes, sir. Those dates are October the 3rd through October the 10th. They'll be at the Jackson Police Training Academy, 3000 St. Charles Street. And the number is 601-960-1378. or 601-960-2077 for anyone interested in wanting to apply to be a part of that upcoming class.
Well, we'll have you back, Commander Horton, to kind of keep us updated on what's happening in the community, between the community and the police department. And we thank you again for being in the studio, and thank you again for what you do for the city of Jackson.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
AmeriCorps strengthens communities and develops leaders through community service. Are you ready to make a difference? AmeriCorps allows you to use your energy and talents to help others while earning money and gaining job skills. If you are age 18 or older, AmeriCorps is waiting for you.
Welcome back to WAJ News. The City of Jackson's AmeriCorps program recently held its graduation for the 2015-2016 class. AmeriCorps members receive a living allowance as they help to serve the community. Graduates receive an education award. The city recently was recognized for one of the top cities in the nation for AmeriCorps graduates. In other news, the City of Jackson has renewed its push to get more people signed up for Code Red. Code Red is an emergency notification system that alerts citizens to severe weather. It's also used to provide alerts about boil water notices, evacuation, and crisis situations. To sign up for Code Red, visit the city website at www.jacksonms.gov, or you can call 601-960-1111, and a representative will assist you in the sign-up. The City of Jackson holds a public meeting about 1% sales tax projects on September 1 at 6 p.m. at Thurmar Hall. This is an opportunity for residents to hear firsthand how the 1% sales tax dollars are being spent and the status of projects in each of Jackson's 7 wards. The Department of Public Works Pothole Blitz is ongoing. The public can get a list of the streets getting repaired each day by just visiting the city's website at jacksonms.gov to find out if your street is on the list. Residents are encouraged to call 311 to report a pothole. Now let's turn our attention to Dr. Timothy Quinn with Healthy Jackson.
Thanks, Marshawn. Everybody's asking about that Zika virus. What is it? It's creating a lot of fear, but their fear is, significant because the Zika virus is a mosquito-borne virus where if you get bit by a certain mosquito, you can contract the Zika virus. Now, here's the deal. The mosquito that carries the Zika virus currently is only found mainly in the tropical areas like in the Caribbean and other areas, not this area of Mississippi. So there's a good chance that you won't get the Zika virus unless you travel to those areas. Now, there have been some cases, and it's still under study, can the Zika virus be transmitted through sexual contact? Right now, the CDC is saying that there's a good chance that it can. So that's still under research, but in the meantime, what you want to look out for is if you travel to those areas, you want to be aware that you could contract the Zika virus if you're bit by mosquitoes. So you want to try to limit your exposure to mosquitoes as much as possible, such as using the insect repellent, maybe not being out during the evening time when the mosquitoes are most prevalent in the area. And if you are someone that is thinking about getting pregnant or pregnant, I'd probably avoid travel to those parts of the world, while everything is, in the process of being developed as far as the information. Because the number one consequence if you contract the Zika virus and you're pregnant is your child could be born with something called microcephaly, which is a small head, which can have, great consequences on that child's life. So the Zika virus is serious. The good news is the mosquito that carries the Zika virus is not in our area, so it's going to be hard to contract the Zika virus unless you have contact with someone that's traveled to the Caribbean areas where the mosquito is more prevalent, or if you travel yourself. So let's keep that in mind and let's be safe and free from the Zika virus. On the behalf of the City of Jackson, we thank you for allowing us to come into your homes and provide you with this good health information.
Thanks, Dr. Quinn. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of We Are Jackson WAJ News. From everyone here, thanks for watching WAJ News. I'm Marshawn Chrysler. Good day, Jackson.